Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Monday night. It is Avenger Pretenders, and we are back. Been a long time, my friends. Happy to see you once again. It is I, the Redneck JT, bringing the geek, Mr. Sully, along with us as Avenger Pretenders dives into Agatha All Along. Duh. Do me a favor, grab your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is that you want to drink. Sit back in that beanbag chair and enjoy the ride. Sully, it's all yours.
Boy, first show of the new show, and you're already screwing it up.
I've even been doing that in my head. I'm like, well, yeah, I got to watch Agatha all the way.
Gotta do it.
No.
Way.
Agatha All Along, you dumbass.
Because if we don't do it that way, then it's gonna be what it is. Hello, everybody,
Right.
and welcome to Avenger Pretenders, where we like to, screw up all the time.
Sure, why not?
It's really
Gives us something to do.
like you really can't argue with that stuff. But yes,
Yeah,
perfect timing. too.
Nakai is laughing at me too.
Perfect timing for this. By the way, I want to thank her for subscribing for 65 straight months to the channel. I appreciate it. If obviously the angle is the same, but if you notice there are certain things different, I'm making sure that my ring light doesn't fall because it broke over the weekend.
Whoops.
Yeah, I need a new one. The good thing is I've got an Amazon gift card, so maybe I can find one that I can get like 3 lights, and it'll look nice. It'll look nice and
There
lit.
you go. There you go.
We'll see what happens. But in the long run, yay! New carpet, it's good stuff. So we're gonna get right down to the nitty gritty. I do have to get my notes up because we were testing things before all hell broke loose. Which, it's all good. It's all good. I just want to make sure, we get things rocking and rolling here. Let's see. That's the one I wanted. Yep. There it is. There it is. We're tackling episodes 1 and 2 today, both of which were 44 minutes long. I was kind of shocked with that.
Well, technically 42 and 44, according to my thing.
Okay. Technicalities. I get it, technicalities. But it takes place, I want to say, after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is good because we knew it was going to at least start there somewhere. We just weren't sure how far ahead,
Right.
which was given to us. But clearly we start off with Agatha still under the curse, but the curse, and this, I thought this was a really good twist, was she was living the curse like she was living in WandaVision, where she was living a different type of TV show. And I thought that was interesting.
It was a nice twist.
It was a very good twist with what they did. And she plays Detective Agnes O'Connor. Now, if you remember from WandaVision, her name was Agnes in that as the character. The neighbor, the nosy neighbor next door.
I'm going to kill me some fucking cat.
Ruh-roh. He's going to... Why? What did he just do?
Well, less lights are working now.
Ruh-roh. Did he fry it?
Pretty much.
Oh, no. And I missed
Fucking
it.
cat.
And I missed it. That would have been good on camera. Cat.
Oh, well.
Good luck. Good luck, cat. Just good luck. So anyway, she plays Agnes O'Connor, where she is a detective that is on unpaid leave, but is called in on a murder case. So she's not on unpaid leave anymore. And she arrives in the woods where supposedly there's a body, a corpse, so to speak, but her fingers are black. Now, I have said it for a while now. I do not think that Wanda Maximoff is dead.
Yes, you
I
have
will
said that
stand by
multiple
that.
times.
I will back that up with as many theories as possible. However, I think they do a really good job with this because clearly she's wearing the sweatshirt, she's wearing the jeans, you know, she's wearing the clothing that Wanda wore at the end of WandaVision, which was the sweatshirt, just a regular t-shirt, the jeans, but she didn't have any shoes on. Okay? As they're going through this scene, we're seeing Agnes finding a locket in a puddle that she keeps. She holds on to it. And it's the same locket that she wore in WandaVision. So if you didn't put two and two together, I told you to watch it. Lady Death says she couldn't get into it at first on Saturday, but then she pushed through. Kudos. Glad you pushed through. By the way,
you had the same problem I had of getting through Wanda All the Way.
Wanda All the Way, huh?
Jesus Christ. You know what the hell I mean.
You're on a roll today.
I quit. I'm just going to sit here and stay quiet.
No, you're not allowed to.
WandaVision.
Yeah, there you go. That one you had a hard time pushing through.
Yes.
So as she's going through, she sees the body, looking at the fingers, finds the locket. She's going through and doing whatever she needs to do as a, quote, detective. But then she goes to the library. And at the library, she meets Dottie Jones. But she was really crass and rude to her.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
Like she was being the bad cop, which don't get me wrong. And I don't know if you agree with me on this one. Most murder mysteries and detective shows always have that bad cop, you know? So I like...
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But I like how she's taking it over the top.
Oh.
Like it fits the story.
Over the top's not even the words for it.
What would you call it?
Over the top.
So jumping the shark without jumping the shark, or I mean, that's the best way that I could, you know.
Well, like I said, she's doing over the top of the over the top.
Yeah, like a complete over embellishment of the bad cop doing a bad cop. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's like
because even the bad cop acts like a good cop for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she even had attitude with the cop that met her at the crime scene, or the other detective that met her at the crime scene,
who, according to her, was friends.
Yes. And I mean, it's not like she held a friendly conversation with him while she was there.
No, she was a total bitch.
And then you look at the way she talked to the chief.
Yeah.
I mean, the conversation, if you want to call it a conversation, that she had with the chief, anybody else would have gotten fired for.
Oh, hands down.
I mean, she basically told him to shut the fuck up. And then when he brought in her partner, that was even worse.
Oh, yeah, the partner.
You know, I mean, that was...
You gotta do this no matter what.
Yeah, she plays the Mike Tyson over the top bad cop in this.
Like,
you know.
really well. Which,
yes,
to me, I like it. I like that they're doing this with her. And, I mean, I don't know if I should like it, but I do.
It works. For right now, it works.
Yes.
So we'll have to see what happens as time goes along in the series. Yeah.
Agreed. So, in the long run, what she's doing is she's trying to get information out of Dottie Jones about a library card for a book that was taken out of the library, and she wanted to know who the last person was because there's no names on it. And as she goes through, she goes, well, okay, according to this, it was stolen 3 years ago, which matches the time frame because, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm. Neighbor across the conversation with the neighbor across the street when she was totally buck naked.
Yeah, but we didn't get to that part yet.
And he was trimming the bushes.
But we didn't get to that part
yet. Get it? Growing up.
Yep, there it is. But we still didn't get to that part yet. We're still at the library.
Sorry.
You're jumping like the whole episode. Chill.
If I'm going to screw it up, man, I'm going to screw it up right. You know that.
So far, so good. So far, so good. So if you think about it, between WandaVision and Doctor Strange, it was just about 3 years. Because Doctor Strange came out in 22.
Right.
So just to tie it together, let's see, WandaVision. So WandaVision was released in 21. Then you had Doctor Strange in 22. So there's your 3 years right there between that and this series. So I'm liking that they're keeping the time frame up. Now, granted,
yes,
they still don't give the year, but we do know that in reality for us, the MCU is now 5 years ahead of us. So
right,
we got a lot to work with when it comes down to it. So once she finds that the book had been stolen, what was the name of the book? I forget what it said.
Oh, crap.
Dialogue and Rhetoric, Known History of Learning and Debate.
Yes.
That's a long title for a book. However.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
However, once they go through everything and they get that really long title, they say, was it Dottie Jones tells her that they had copies in general science section, but there was a fire. There was a fire. It was burned. It's gone. It's poof. Can't get them anymore. So then we fast forward and now we're at the office where she's not really still supposed to be there. But as JT mentioned earlier, the way she was talking to her chief, Phil Jones, he tells her the dirt found on the corpse was from Eastern Europe, which, again, ties to Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
But the FBI was taking over the case. FBI was taking over the case, and we get Rio Vidal. Now, Rio Vidal is a new character. And JT asked me about this character.
I've seen her before. I didn't necessarily mean as a character in this.
Yes.
But the face I've seen before, and I just couldn't place. I swear I've seen her in a Marvel show. But I know I've seen her before. I just couldn't place where.
Aubrey Plaza in another Marvel show?
Somewhere. I've seen her somewhere. I may be wrong. I mean, wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
No, you are not wrong. She actually played Amol Farouk, or the Shadow King in Legion. So you're not wrong. She did play another Marvel character, but not in the MCU. Otherwise, she was in Parks and Rec.
That's probably where I recognize
Probably
her.
where
I
you
didn't
saw
watch Park and Rec, but I saw lots of the commercials and promos and all that crap for it. So
yeah,
that might be where I recognize her from.
probably. Otherwise, let me just do a.
Nikaya says, so glad you said that because I was going crazy trying to remember her. So I wasn't the only one.
Let's see. Audrey Plaza. Ooh, she's 40. Look at that. She looks damn good for 40, doesn't she?
I would still be a male cougar.
Let's see. Parks and Rec. Trying to see where else. They don't really have like a filmography for her, which is interesting. She was part of Upright Citizens Brigade, Laugh Factory. She's done Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock. So she's been around. She's been around. Oh, and she was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. There you go. It's probably where I've seen her before. Damsels in Distress, 10 years. So she's got a good plethora of work. Good plethora of work.
Nikaya says, I meant Sully saying that she was a new character.
Yes. So back to the character. Thank you, Lady Death. So she plays this brand new character by the name of Rio Vidal. Okay. Well, she is technically the Green Witch. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, we have the Scarlet Witch. We've got a Purple Witch. Why do we have a Green Witch? Yes. You raised your hand, yes.
Because in witchcraft lore, you always have witches that represent the elements.
Yes, exactly.
Earth, wind, fire, water.
In September. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
and something else. There's a fifth one. I can't think of what it is, though.
Well, while they meet, she's playing this wonderful agent of the FBI in this make-believe show. And they begin talking, and she begins to start bringing things up. No tracks where the corpse was. That means it was just dropped there, or the corpse magically appeared. Like she's trying to trigger something in Agnes, right? And that's when they start talking about why she's there. And that she doesn't care that she's part of the FBI. And they start going back and forth with each other. One thing Agnes realizes that the locket needs to be looked at. So, brings the locket to a pawnbroker. I mean, why not?
Right.
Why not?
Well, it's also interesting to note that she never told the other cop about it.
No, she was withholding evidence for sure.
Yes.
Which, again, bad cops do that, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things they do.
Yep. Well, while there, they go over everything, and the pawnbroker says, yo, this locket is from the 17th century New England. Could probably go back to the witch trials and all that, which, if you paid attention to WandaVision, you would know Agatha is that old. She's a witch. So we fast forward, and as they're talking about the locket, she goes, how much would you charge for something like this? And he tells her a price. He goes, okay, thanks. That's what I would put it on eBay for. Appreciate it. I could get more money. And she walks out. But then we see her in her office, and she's looking at the book. And she's scribbling notes in a notebook. And that's when she's looking at the title of the book, The Dialogue and Rhetoric, Known History of Learning and Debate. A clue, folks. A clue. Now, mind you, I didn't get this right away because it was really hard to actually see the title of that book on the card once, because yeah, you could take a freeze frame of it, but it was quick. It wasn't long. You saw the title and then it scrolled down and you saw the last line. Well, that's when she starts to take the letters of everything there and got
the first letter of each word.
First letter of each word and got Darkhold. Which kind of did like a holy shit. I know.
Well, she got to the H, and after she hit the H, she dropped the pen and jumped,
Yep.
reacted. And she was like, wait a minute, something went.
Yes. Which, for her, she's still under the curse, so she doesn't know what the hell is going on. And at the
Just
same
knows
time,
something funky's happening.
Say that again?
I said she just knows something funky's going on.
Yeah, she just knows, like she's got that weird feeling. Shit's about to hit the fan. Well, while she's going through this, she goes back home and Rio Vidal is there at her house. She walks in with beer and pizza and they talk. They have a conversation. And while they're having this conversation, she's saying, have you ever left Westview? Why don't you travel? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? What seems to be the major issue with this? And that's when she goes, now I remember what's going on. I remember certain things. But I loved that Rio and Lady Death just nailed it on the head. Do you remember why you don't like me?
Good question.
Very good question. Very good question. But that's when she hears a thump upstairs.
I like the question that she asked before she asked.
Yep.
Do you remember why you don't like me?
Which was?
Are you hiding evidence?
Yes.
And she said no.
Hiding evidence?
Or no, that was she asked that one after.
Did she?
Yeah, she asked the evidence question after the remember why you hate me question.
Interesting.
Because she had two different reactions. Her first reaction, do you remember why you hate me? And, it was like she had to think for a minute, and then she answered.
Yeah.
And then she followed that up with, are you hiding evidence? And she was instantaneous with that answer.
But no, I'm not hiding anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wouldn't do that kind of thing. I'm not a bad cop.
Bullshit. But that's when she hears the bump up above her head and there's an intruder in the house. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Intruder. Cue the chase scene that for some reason always happens in TV shows and movies. They're always chasing the perp and they're always falling down, falling out of something, crashing into something. It's the cliche chase, which again, in this instance works perfectly well because you want that cliche chase. You want that over the top look. Okay.
But holy crap, was she out of shape?
Oh yeah. She was, whew. But you got to remember her character was on administrative leave without pay. So she sat around and drank beer, ate food, didn't run nothing.
I just thought it was funny how out of shape she was.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they get to the point where another character played by the ever so wonderful woman who plays Kitty Foreman, and she will always be Kitty Foreman in my eyes. Hits him with a car. I'm so
Yeah.
dark. Like that whole thing, it happens. They arrest him. They arrest the intruder, and while they're there, her and Rio are there, and they go, "Well, let's try to get him to talk. Let's interrogate him. Let's do this. Let's do that." And they start talking. She's doing the whole bad cop routine, but then throws down the pictures of the body, and my ring light just fell, as you can tell. Things just got a little dark on my side. Please hold.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You'll be all right, though.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, I gotta pull it back up.
I mean, this is a dark kind of show, so, you know.
I think I need like a clip or something to hold it into place for now.
Right?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, that works.
And the guy says, hey, who turned out the light?
Right? Like it just got so dark. Like, Well, as she's interrogating him, throws the pictures of Wanda down, and he says, "What are you talking about? These are just flowers."
That was weird.
That was cool, though.
It was.
That
But
was
it was
cool.
weird.
And that's when she looks down at the pictures and she's seeing the flowers too. It's her front yard. They're not at the precinct. They're in, hey, we're not even here. What are you doing? And afterwards, she looks and it's her house. She's back at her house. Only she's at her house in Westview, not a part of the show, but as a part of the house that she lived in WandaVision. Completely changed. Which I thought was interesting.
There were several things that happened in this episode that would be interesting.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Almost the entire damn episode.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. Well, when that happens, we hear the teenager or the intruder start chanting in Latin. He's doing a spell, for sure. And it's kind of like, I got the feeling that it was a counter spell to wake her up from her curse that Wanda put on her, And
right.
Because of that, now all her memories are starting to get triggered. Now she doesn't understand who she is, where she is, why she's doing what she's doing. So while that's happening, she decides, I'm going to go and check out the corpse. I'm going to go and I'm going to find out what exactly is going on. And while she's there, the corpse isn't even on the table. She's like, okay, what's going on here? Oh, and before I even forget this, she did throw the teen in jail. So he's currently locked up in jail while she's looking at the corpse. And that's when she turns around and the corpse is there on the table. And we see red hair hanging down.
And she was trying to talk herself down because she was like almost having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And she's talking, okay, there was a body. She was about 5'7", this, that. She had green eyes. And that's when she looked up and saw the body. And started walking towards the body and goes, and red. And that's when she stopped and they flashed over and they showed the red hair hanging over the edge of the table.
And then they also show her feet. They show the toe tag. And the toe tag was just the book from the library with nobody's name on it. And then obviously you see W. Maximoff on it. And it just forms.
Right.
Now, again, I'm still going to say she is not dead. She's not. They're trying to make you
You need to-
think she is. Okay.
You
And
need to
here's
make that a
why.
button.
Which one?
You need to make that a button.
What? That she's not dead?
Yes.
She's not dead.
That way you don't have to keep saying it. You can just hit the button. She's not dead.
I can do that. I can do that. Well, Vidal shows up and goes, "Do you recognize anything? Is this sparking things? You know, for the record, you're not Agnes O'Connor. You are Agatha Harkness. You're under a spell that the Scarlet Witch put on you." But then she says, "However, the witch and the Darkhold is gone, so you can break free now. You can walk amongst everybody without being cursed." Now, again, Lady Death nailed it on the head. Nobody stays dead except Uncle Ben. Yes. But, in this situation, even though Rio Vidal says the witch and the Darkhold is gone, yes, that is true. The Darkhold was destroyed. So was the original Darkhold, which is why Wanda destroyed the entire mountainside. But again, if you watch Doctor Strange very carefully, you see the red and just poof, gone.
Right.
To me, yes, people will say she's crushed, she's dead. But that's not how she worded it. She said the witch is gone and the Darkhold is gone. You can break free. Which means the Darkhold that was poisoning Wanda's brain to do bad things with good intentions is now gone from her system. The Darkhold is destroyed. Your curse is over. Now, this was a cool sequence because now we see Agatha, or Agnes at this point in time, saying she's getting hot and she's itchy and she's doing what she needs to do. And that's when she starts ripping off her clothes. She starts ripping off her clothes, but then she's starting to go through every single character that she played in WandaVision.
Yes. Real quick, want to say hi to Arg Gaming 82.
What up?
Chiming in through Kick. Says Watchmen is in the best of DC.
Yeah. But that's not what we're talking about, sir.
Nope.
But I appreciate you chiming in and having some fun with us.
Right.
Because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And DC needs to work on things. A lot. And I'll say this, as under James Gunn, hopefully they correct the mistakes that they've had.
Yes.
And that's it. So as Agatha is now ripping off her clothing, she's going through every single character to break free from the hex. And then she gets to the point where she's black and white. And that's when we first saw her in Westview. And that's when she takes off one more layer and we see her in her house fully nude. And she rushes outside to see her partner in the crime drama, Herb, and says, you've been doing this for the last 3 years. What's going on? And oh, by the way, you're buck-ass nude.
Right.
And that's
I found it interesting that she was screaming at him, "How long have I been here?
Mm-hmm.
How long have I been here?" Well, what do you mean? How long have I been? You mean living here? About 3 years.
3 years, and well, you've also been thinking that you've been in a true crime show.
Right. And then he also said that you've been acting kind of strange lately.
A little weird.
Yes.
A little weird.
A little out of sorts, as they might say.
And then put some clothes on, please.
Right. He even tried to cover up with a coat.
But that was the other thing. As she was outside and as she was yelling at him, all the other characters from that crime drama were her neighbors in Westview. So they were all coming out. They were all noticing her, and she was completely naked and all that stuff. And that's when she finally gets her bearings. She storms back across the street to go back into her house and do what she needs to do.
Yeah, because the guy trimming the bushes, giggity, was the other detective. The next door neighbor father was the police chief. And the guy walking down the sidewalk was the pawn shop guy.
Yeah, and don't forget the librarian who was married to the police.
And the librarian.
Yep.
Who was her, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, as she gets into the house and she starts to, cover up and put, robes on and does whatever, well, Vidal shows up and destroys her front door. Just bursts right through. And that's when she remembers, I hate you. That's really what it was. I hate you. Let's fight. Mm-hmm. Let's do what we need to do. And Vidal is trying to kill her.
Yeah.
But according to the coven, you're not allowed. You can't kill. So that's when she goes, yeah, well, I can wish you were dead. Makes sense. As they're fighting, they're going from room to room. And, Harkness is powerless. So she doesn't have any of her powers because Wanda stole it all. Wanda took it, and that was that. Okay?
Right.
But then she said, you know what? I'm going to wait until you get your powers back. I'm going to wait. And, oh, by the way, just so you know, the Salem 7 are coming for you. Good luck. Good luck. Then she licks Agatha's hand, healing her. Because, she had a couple of cuts and bruises from being thrown about the house and broken things and all that good stuff.
Right.
But the one thing that she does notice before the episode ends is she opens up the closet and the teen that she arrested is tied up in the closet.
That was funny.
Oh, man, it was great. And she was very nonchalant about it. And that's the end of the episode. Now, I will tell you, I loved the ending credits. How they mixed all old TV show, original TV show images and animations into this. And I love that they chose Season of the Witch as the ending theme. I thought it worked perfectly well. Now, mind you, I don't know a lot about witchcraft. I don't understand it. I know people who do. Lady Death is one of them. She understands that whole thing. Great person to ask questions to, and I will when I have questions. However, I started on Two Ewoks in the Park on the last one, right? Or was it you? Can't remember who started on episode 1 for ranking.
Well, I was evens. So that would mean you were started first, so it would be me this time.
Yay, you get to start first. So what did you think of this episode, sir? And what's your rating on Witches' Hats? Because that's what we're going to use, Witches' Hats.
Well, it was 1,000 times better than WandaVision's episode 1.
Really? Really?
I'm just saying.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
unique.
Unique?
Definitely a unique road that we are going down with this series
Okay.
with Agatha All Along. Interesting storyline. Interesting way of introducing characters and bringing people back, bringing people into where the time frame is that we're working on, and especially Agnes / Agatha and what she's kind of going through here at the beginning of this.
Okay.
It actually kind of left me wanting more
Oh, really?
in this episode. Not after this episode, but a little bit more in this episode to kind of maybe explain a few more things. I felt only partially dressed, I guess you could say, after the episode was done.
Okay.
But it was good. The pacing was good. There wasn't, you didn't feel like you were riding a speedboat and then you hit a freaking speed bump.
Right.
Which would be another boat in the case of riding a boat.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. I give it on a 5 witches hat scale. I'm gonna go right in the middle at about 2.5.
Okay. All right.
To start off with, because this kind of stuff isn't really my bag.
Yep, that's true.
I get into this more than I got into the werewolf one,
which was only one episode.
Yeah.
And I like that one.
We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes.
Okay. Lady Death is giving it 2.5 stars as well. It was a little bit of a rough start, which we kind of knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
At least I knew it was going to happen. I don't know about you guys. I like that they kept her still under her spell. I'm glad they didn't drag the spell out into another episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they, here's the episode. This is it. She's breaking out of the spell. Simple as that. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that would have been a shit episode.
They do refer to the witch being gone and the Darkhold being gone. I'm still going to say she's not dead. It's all in the wording. All in the wording.
Right.
That the Scarlet Witch is not dead. Now, with that being said, I am right there with you, but I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
Mostly because I know like the characters. I'm established. I'm on the established side of things. So the fact that they're continuing where WandaVision left off after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, making you think that she was in a true crime, cop detective drama, and her acting over the top.
You used my line.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's embellishing what she's already got going on.
Right.
But it fits. It fits for the story, because if you remember WandaVision, they were embellishing a lot of stuff because they thought that they were in an actual TV show. So I can understand their line of thinking of what they did with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, this episode, I'm giving it a 3.
I will say this. I blanked on it when I was doing my review. One of my favorite parts of the episode was when she was shedding the different layers of characters that she had been.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got to
that was cool.
Agnes in the first 4 episodes of WandaVision, where it was in black and white, and her character actually came out in black and white.
Yes.
That to me was the piece de resistance for this episode.
Okay.
Because that really took you back. Okay, now if you weren't really remembering who she was, that took you right back to it immediately.
Yes. Especially when she finally broke through
Mm-hmm.
and things went Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely, to me, it definitely brought a lot of things home as far as just to make that connection from then to now
Yes.
and everything else. So that was, like I said, to me, that was the piece de resistance
Piece de resistance.
for this episode.
Yes.
Also known as good stuff, Maynard.
We did it! Yay! Well, then we
Yay, we
come
did
to episode 2. And episode 2, and I love the name of episode 2. Circles sewn with fate, unlock thy hidden gate.
Right.
And I do like that they're using these rhyming words in certain aspects for naming of the episodes. The first episode, by the way, was Seekest Thou the Road. Yes. Seekest Thou the Road. Now, the road that they're talking about plays heavy into episode 2. Episode 2 is your standard we need to go find other witches episode. That's what we need to do. We need to find other witches. Because Agatha wants to walk the witch's road so she can get her powers back. And that's the only way to do it is by getting a witch in the coven from, as JT mentioned it earlier, and so did Lady Death, representing earth, wind, fire, all that stuff. Okay? So this was an interesting episode in the beginning. And actually, throughout the whole episode, it was actually pretty interesting. Because Joe Locke, who plays the teen that she had locked up, when they're talking, and this is just
that she now calls her familiar.
Yeah. Very familiar. Because they're talking, she asks him where he's from and what his name is.
Yeah. First one was, what's his name?
But every time he said the name, it got blurred out or dulled down so you couldn't hear it, or they changed the sound and they put like little stitches over his mouth, but in different, like different runes, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure if they were runes. I tried to look and rewind and look at it again, but
they almost look like scars.
Yeah. Yeah.
They almost look like knife scars.
Yeah. But it was only for her.
Yeah.
Only she couldn't understand it.
Right.
Now,
and with what happened with the where are you from, that's further into the episode, but that was wild.
Yeah, where she only got certain words.
Didn't get any words.
Well, they did have a few.
I didn't catch them.
Yeah, but it was only so for example, if we were talking and old school cell phones, it's the best way I can explain it. Old school cell phones. When you're walking down the street and you're talking, and then I did this, and that's basically what it was for her. But we'll also get there because that does tie to what is happening here, where she asked him what his name was. Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's okay. We got to walk the witch's road. I need witches. Where do we go first? And oh, by the way, since you're here, you're coming with me. And he's only known as Teen. That's it. That's all he's known as.
Yeah. Well, and it was weird because he kind of, I don't want to say forced his way in, because she wasn't going to take him. She was like, okay, watch the house, just make sure nobody gets in the house, blah, 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 and all that. And he asked her, take me to the road.
Yes.
And, kind of, what are you talking about, the road? So they went through this whole back and forth about him trying to get her to agree to take him to the Witch's Road.
Yes.
It was a very interesting interaction in that section,
Yes.
or in that part of the episode that I found rather enjoyable, actually.
Yes. Now the other thing is you're about to get attacked by a cat.
Yeah, I felt her jump up there.
Oreo,
He's not the one that was eating the lights, though. So
get out
was
of
the other
here.
one.
They're going. Get out of here. So this episode alone is okay, we need to get these witches. But for her, she's also teaching Teen because he wants to go to Witches Road as well. And they now need to find witches within 30 miles of her, 30 miles of where she is. And she has to get them in specific order, so to speak. Like she's got a list of the witches.
Well, she has to get specific people,
Yes.
but she doesn't know who those people are yet.
Right. Until she gets the list.
Right.
So she
And
makes,
she gets the list from the first person that they go to see.
yeah. So she goes to, what was it? I forget her name. Leela? Was it Leela?
Lily, I think.
Lilia? Lila? We'll go with Lily.
I don't remember.
We'll go with Lily. Where she was a psychic, dime store psychic. Come on in and pay $10 or $20 and get your palm read or your tarot cards read. Which, by the way, if anybody knows how to read those, I have questions.
That would be Miss Nikaya.
But that's a different story altogether. We'll talk about that later. So in the long run, she's a dime a dozen psychic. Okay. And at first, it's, you can read his, you don't really have magic, it's playing the part of, hey, by the way. Well, as she's...
Lilia.
Lilia? It was Lilia. See, I was right.
Lilia. Lilia.
There you go. Lilia. In the long run, she actually does have powers. And she basically tells Agatha where to stick it.
Yeah. Not interested.
Yeah, not interested, but she did it in a very nonchalant way. Like, okay, I know what you're doing. No, you're done. Goodbye. See you later. Not happening. And once they get to the point that the readings are done, that's when they go into the back room. And when they're in the back room, that's when she says, listen, I'm going to walk the witch's road. You can either help me or if you're not. And then she starts pulling all these different things out of her hat that she could use against her. And she's just Lilia's right on it. Yeah, but what makes you think I'm going to do it? Because you're just going to kill me anyway and steal my powers.
And that was her biggest thing. And it turns out, just a little bit of a spoiler, it turns out that's the biggest issue for all of the people that she goes to.
Yes.
Because that's Agatha's reputation.
It's her MO.
It's her MO is, she befriends somebody or helps somebody or does something with somebody.
Yep.
And she steals their powers.
Yeah. But the other thing is she did offer a list, and it was a list of other witches in the area that she can use and go to. At the same
It was really weird how that happened, too.
It really was.
Because they're sitting there talking, and she says, okay, he pretty much says, okay, you can go. Lilia says, okay, you can just go.
Be gone, heathens. Be gone.
And Agatha had just given her an eviction notice that was on her front door.
Yes.
And she still has that in her hand. She turns to walk away, and it's like, wham, a witch encounter or something happened. There's like a possessioning happening or something like that. And all of a sudden you see Lilia writing on the paper.
Yes.
And that's where she gets the list of the other 4 people
that she needs.
that she needs to contact.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she also tell Lilia about like making her certain clothing or something like that and dropping them off at the house and I'll see you there? Or did I make that up?
I don't remember anything like that. But it was, you know, when meeting her at the house came up was when they gave her the address and said, be there at 5.
Yeah, be there at 5.
You know, but I don't remember anything about making up certain clothing or anything like that. But
Yes. But then, as we're going about our trek to find more witches, we run into Jennifer Kale. Jennifer Kale is another witch, only this one, she makes candles and soaps.
Edible.
Yes.
Candles.
Edible with wonderful smells that will just make you just go insane for that special someone.
And wonderful tastes.
Yeah. But there's also a weird mark that's engraved on it, and it's kind of like her spiritual mark. And according to her, the suburban housewives love this shit. They just love this shit.
At least 800 of them.
And the minute she walks in, Jennifer Kale goes, Agatha Harkness, what are you doing here? I know what you're up to. Get out.
Yep.
Get out. But it was interesting because when she walked in and they started talking, the patrons that were already there just left.
Turn around, left.
They just turned around and walked out of the store. They didn't spend any money, like nothing.
Well, I mean, with the way that she walks into the store, with running the accent and the attitude and the I need a jade egg and my pelvic floor is all out of whack.
Yeah.
I'd probably turn the hell around and walk out too.
I mean, I think it would be pretty interesting.
Because, I mean, you know, she was doing the crazy person version of the over the top cop.
Yes, she was.
Pretty much.
She was. And again, that's okay too. That's okay too.
Yeah.
But she knew exactly why she was there. Listen, these witches in this show are very intuitive. It's like mind reading.
Well, yeah, they gotta be.
Mind reading. It's what we do. Well, from there, she recruits another one. All right, be here at this time, blah, blah, blah. And that's when we meet a character by the name of Alice Wu Gulliver. Former cop, current mall security guard, witch. But it only makes her a witch because her mother was a witch.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore she's a blood witch. Which, again, I had no idea there were different things. I had no clue. I didn't know there was, obviously we knew there was the Scarlet Witch, but I didn't know there was a blood witch. I didn't know there was a candle witch, which I'm sure there's a different name for that. I just went with candle.
Well, again, it's the elements.
Yes, it's all elemental. Okay, and I get
air, wind, fire, water, earth.
Blood.
Blood's the only one that doesn't go with in there. You know? It really, I mean, think about it. Earth, wind, fire, blood. Really? What? That's crazy. Well, Lady Death, they are based off the elements. So yes, JT is actually correct. I know. I've been told him that. I'm like, I know now. Again, this is all stuff that I kind of need to know but that's a whole nother story. So Lady Death, I'll get in touch with you. But
Yeah, so what you're thinking of with a blood witch?
yes.
A blood witch is someone who uses magic to manipulate their own blood and that of other beings
Yes.
in order to control them by controlling their muscles and such.
Gotcha.
So a blood witch is not necessarily not one of the 5 elements that are required in a coven.
Right.
So that's where the slight difference is there.
Gotcha. Now I understand. I do. Well, fast forward. They've recruited all the witches that they needed to recruit, except for one. JT's raising his hand again. Yes, sir.
One thing I want to point out, which was really weird to me, that happened twice in this episode.
Oh.
Actually, 3 times, but only twice to this point where we're at now.
Okay.
When they came out of Lilia's shop and they were at the car,
Yes.
Agatha noticed the crow or blackbird, whichever way you want to look at it,
Yeah.
that was sitting up on the sign, and she kind of went into a little bit of a trance kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when they were at the mall looking for Alice Wu, she saw the rat that was coming down the walkway. He's
Yes.
right up against the edge of the wall. And she saw that, and she's like, okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. And that was when they went to the shop that Alice was actually doing security for.
So I have a theory on that.
My thinking, and I really can't say what the theory is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I can. Because it was mentioned in her fight with Rio. At the end of the fight with Rio,
Yes.
after Agatha had managed to dissuade her from killing her there.
Yes.
She mentioned that the Salem 7
Mm-hmm.
were coming and they were going to be there that night.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, and obviously it took a while for it to catch. It clicked for me here in just a little bit in the episode that they are either scouts for or members of the Salem 7 in their familiars form, or they're the familiars for the Salem 7.
I'm glad you brought that up.
But I found the reaction to those, at this point, to those two, the crow and the rat, really piqued my interest as we were going through the episode.
Yes. So you nailed it on the head. Okay.
What your theory was?
Well, not just the theory, but the fact of, if you notice, there's not just a crow and a rat. There's a fox.
Those were the only 2 that I caught.
There's an owl, snake,
I didn't catch the owl. I didn't catch the snake.
a coyote.
Actually, it's a wolf, not a coyote.
Nope, it is a coyote.
Is it a coyote? Looked like a
Mhm.
wolf to me.
Nope, it's a coyote. But we'll get to that because they show that
Mm-hmm.
in a little
bit
bit.
later.
They show that in a little bit because your theory of the Salem 7 is sound. Okay. And
Hey,
we'll-
cool. I got something sound.
Yes. And as Lady Death said, I'm so proud of you. You're growing up.
Nah. Not growing up, just getting a little smarter.
He's getting smarts with the comic book stuff. Just saying. Just saying. So Agatha gets all her coven, the ones to help them open up Witch's Road. Now, as JT so kindly stated, that he mentioned the crow and the rat, which, yes, it ties to the Salem 7. Okay? Now, Teen, on the other hand, is not a part of the coven. One, because he's a boy. And
But
two,
he wants to be.
yes, he does want to be a witch. He wants to walk the witch's road. But she specifically tells him, you need to go upstairs and keep an eye out on things, make sure, nobody comes and interrupts us. While they're down in the basement, there's just one issue. They're one witch short.
Mm-hmm.
That witch being the Green Witch. Now, you can't use Rio Vidal because, well, she wants to kill Agatha to begin with. And can't. So she goes for the next best witch.
And it was interesting because a little bit earlier in the episode, the teen
Mm-hmm.
asked, "Who's next?"
Yep.
And she goes, "Oh, we don't need her. We'll go to the next one."
Yes. We'll go to the next one. And that would be Mrs. Hart. Mrs. Hart or Sharon Davis, because Mr. Hart passed away.
Yes.
She is adjusting as being an earth witch or a nature witch. Okay. And Deborah Jo Rupp, who plays her, was also in WandaVision. She played a character in WandaVision, same one. And let's face it, she's Kitty Foreman. All right. You can't knock that.
That's who I thought of immediately.
You can't, it's just, it is what it is, So, yeah.
Most actors are recognized by one character. For people, as they look at him and they say, "Oh, I know who that is because of, be it the '70s show or Friends or a movie or what." But a lot of people associate one character with one specific thing.
Yes.
When they see them in something else. I do it a lot. Hey, they
And
were
it
in
worked.
NCIS, that kind of thing.
And it worked. And that's when Viking Brewer, I'm guessing you're talking about Agatha. Don't want spoilers, just want to say hi. Hope all is well with you. Listen, it came out last week, man. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Speed up.
Hey, the man has a life. Unlike us.
I have a kid upstairs. I have no life.
Exactly. Good to see you, Brewer.
It came out last Wednesday. I mentioned it twice.
And you were here for the whole show.
I mentioned it last Monday, and I mentioned it on Tuesday last week, too.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, episodes 1 and 2. So,
But anyway.
So I understand if you need to turn it off or mute us, by all means.
It's okay, man. I'm doing my Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It's okay.
Ho!
Oh, I got to get over here. Oh, with 2x4 on my shoulder.
And then he said, "Sir, I'm normally drunk, LOL. It's all right.
That's no excuse.
No excuse, but it's all right. You're good.
If you're normally drunk, then you should be a functioning drunk.
You're good. But I will tell you this. You might want to hit mute.
And you might want to watch the Agatha All Along sober.
Yeah. Lady Death wishes she was drunk. So while they're in the basement, they now have all the witches that they need for the coven to open up the witch's road. And as they're doing that, they start to do a spell, or that spell becomes a song. And it's the Ballad of the Witch's Road, which I believe was written specifically for this, where you can see as they're starting to get into it one by one, they're joining in, singing the lyrics. And as they're singing the lyrics, lo and behold, who shows up? A coyote, the crow, the fox, the owl, the rat, and the snake. Rot-row. Rot-row. Now you're probably saying, wait a second, that's only 6. Yes, it is only 6. Lady Death says it was very well written. She was surprised. I hear you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I hear you on that one.
So the song drew inspiration from the theme songs from the Munsters
Okay.
and the Addams Family.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
There's a good.
Agatha All Along went viral after appearing in Breaking the Fourth Wall and was originally released in February 23rd, 2021 as part of WandaVision Episode 7.
Okay. Wasn't part of episode?
You know that.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yep.
So, as I was mentioning, we have the 6 showing up, but there's also one more. And that's the leader, Vertigo. Vertigo is number 7.
Yikes.
The Salem 7 are at it. The Salem 7 are not only at it, but they're coming for Agatha. Okay. And according to some of my notes, JT, just your theory, Vertigo sent Crow, Rat, and Coyote as scouts. So look at that. JT's theory nailed it. Nailed it. But as they're singing the Ballad of the Witch's Road, that's when the 7 start to attack.
Watching Teen react to seeing them and the reveal of the 7
Yes.
was awesome.
Yes.
And, they really built it up with the way that they brought them towards the house and brought them into the house. And a very, very well set up scene.
Yes.
To bring them into it.
Now, there are some theories that are going around. One of which, if you know Marvel Comics, you'll go, damn it, I missed it. But I can't believe it. And then at the same time, you're like, son of a bitch, how did I miss that? And then you're going to go, huh, did not know that.
Right.
Okay. As the Salem 7 are attacking, as JT mentioned, Teen is all over the place, getting scared out of his shoes. And rightfully so, because
he probably needed to change his underwear.
Yeah, probably. Because Teen is all over the place and the Salem 7 are storming the house. They're attacking left and right, and they're trying to make their way past Teen. Now, depending on the page that you look at, Teen, whose real name is kind of blocked out, but you can kind of find it. It's not that difficult. As a matter of fact, if you put Teen and do Marvel in the search, you'll know exactly who it is. Former Young Avenger. But he's there.
Love how they intermingle.
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, the real name of Teen is technically Billy Kaplan, or William Willie Kaplan, which you can't hear it because Agatha can't hear it. should be interesting to say the least. But
It's still interesting to know, or I'm interested to know why she can't hear it. That hasn't been explained yet.
which I think we'll get to. I really do. I really think we'll get there. And this is where he's showing loyalty to Agatha, because as the Salem Seven are attacking and he's going from room to room trying to escape them and fight them and get to safety, he does manage to get down to the basement. And at that time, the other witches stopped their ballad, but nothing happened until suddenly we see on the basement floor a door that just appears. And all of them try to open the door. Well, first Agatha tries to open it by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all try and open the door, and they all work together. And that's when they start hearing the Salem Seven boom, coming in and trying to get down to the stairs. And now they're going, go down the stairs. Go down the stairs. We're going to walk the road. We're all going to walk the road. Go, go, go. Down, 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 down. Right. They're reciting what they just sang as they're going down to safety. Agatha is the last one to go down. Once Agatha gets down, she slams the door closed right before the Salem Seven can get to her. Great. And as she's down there, you can see the door just disappears and it's all rock. And they walk all the way down the stairs to Witch's Road.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting because I thought, because according to Agatha, as she's explaining, we need to sing the ballad, the Ballad of the Witch's Road, and a door will appear. I was expecting the door from Agatha's house, since there was no actual door on the house anymore.
Yep.
I was expecting Agatha's front door to appear, not a doorway on the floor.
Gotcha.
But I think what happened to cause the door to appear, because like you said, they finished the song and nothing happened. So Agatha started goading the other five.
Yes.
And, acting like, because the only way, and this was revealed in episode 1, the only way that she can steal somebody's powers is if they attack her with those powers.
Correct.
Which I did not know. Okay. So she starts goading them into getting them to attack her.
Yes.
And of course, the line comes up, she's trying to steal our powers. I think all she was trying to do was piss them off. Because one thing happened while she was goading them along. And, hang on a second, let me get the name. Alice Wu.
Yep.
During her goading along, they flashed to Alice's hand. And Alice's hand did that little shimmer glow thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that she was goading them to piss them off, to really activate their witch powers.
Yes.
Which is what caused the door to appear.
Yes.
So it wasn't just the song, but you also had to have the witches with, they're using, at least one of them or something, using their power.
Yeah, and for Agatha, she doesn't have the power. So that's why she wanted the Witch's Road to open up and get there. Mm-hmm. And she even said in the episode to Teen, he's like, she says, the Witch's Road doesn't exist. And he says, you're lying. And she goes, am I? Am I?
Is it?
And that's when she goes.
He did a lot of research.
Yeah, well, that's when she goes, that's just what we real witches say to keep the amateurs out. The road will give you the one thing you want most.
What you most desire.
What you most desire, right. And the Witch's Road is a pathway in the multiverse.
Right.
So...
and Teen states, when he's trying to convince her to take him along, he states that I've done a lot of research on you, and I know you've already been on the Witch's Road.
Right.
You've been on the Witch's Road before, so I know it's real.
So let's do it, shall
So,
we?
you know, he kind of, you know, when he trapped her like that, that was pretty much when she agreed.
Yeah.
You know, that and she needed somebody with a car to drive.
Yeah.
That was funny too, by the way.
and also just so you know, there's a lot of things that can happen on Witch's Road. It's a path in the multiverse, so there's a lot of different things that can happen all in one shot.
Well, and I love how they emphasize multiple times
Yes, multiple times.
that it's a death trap. It's a death wish.
Yeah.
You know, most people that go down Witch's Road do not survive.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a pretty dangerous place.
But I have a feeling that they all will, because in some way, shape, or form, a lot of their powers were taken away. They weren't, you know, as powerful as Agatha was at one point in time. And
Right. Either their powers were taken away or they were bound by a spell.
Bound by a spell, which in Agatha's case, she was bound by a spell, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So in the long run, and again, you know, they all take their shoes off and they all start walking down the road, and that's the end of the episode. So I'm curious to see what happens on Wednesday with the next episode. Okay.
Right.
And I'm also curious as to what the Salem 7 are going to do now that they're on that road. Can they get to the road? Are they going to wait somewhere else where Agatha shows up? Is there going to be some type of showdown? I'm very, very interested with what's going on. Now, mind you, this episode was your run-of-the-mill, hey, we got to gather people up episode. But it kept you going. It was a complete 360 of what the first episode was.
Oh.
The first episode was, I'm still in this curse, help me out, you know,
right.
Got to get me out of this. And oh, by the way, we're going to establish some of the characters as we go along. This episode established more characters who are going to play a key role and kept going. Then also threw in the elements of the Salem 7, who are deadly, by the way.
Well, yeah. That's why they're the Salem 7.
And I mean deadly. And they actually did really well with the Ballad of Witch's Road. It was, like Lady Death said earlier, a pleasant surprise. It was. And they made it a spell. They made it work. Not like the musical world in the Marvels, which we won't even touch. This worked because this was more of a spell than a song. And it just worked. I'm giving this episode a 4. 4 witches' hats. Because of the introduction of the characters that were already there. They are Marvel characters. They're not new. And the fact that it kept you going. And it explained a little bit more. And I loved the effect of Teen or Billy Kaplan whenever he talked to Agatha. And certain things were just blurred out. You couldn't hear them. You couldn't see him. Crossed his mouth over. And she just looked so freaking confused it wasn't even funny. This episode I'm giving a 4. The writing was done very well with this episode.
Right.
What you giving it?
Hang on a second.
1, 2, 3.
Well, there's a couple of things that I've been wondering about. And one of them was, why can't Agatha hear Teen's name, and not just his name, but where he lived, where he was from? Because if you remember the conversation in the car that you were talking about, she asked him, where are you from? And he goes into this whole long spiel, and she hears the beginning of it, But then when he goes to start naming cities or states that he's from, it goes silent.
Yep.
And it starts doing that Verizon commercial thing, you know. So I looked it up, and there really is nothing that explains it completely. There's theories out there. One is that the teen is a Wiccan, and because he's a Wiccan, she can't hear his name due to something with that. Other parts of it's a part of Wanda's hex that still remains.
Okay.
And those kind of things.
Hmm.
The other thing that I wondered was, why did they take their shoes off? Why did they take their shoes off before they started walking down the Witch's Road?
Okay.
So I Googled that. And it says, when Agatha takes her shoes off, this seems to suggest some knowledge of the road that she is set to walk upon. Still, going barefoot to connect with the earth has been a common thing of pagan traditions throughout the years, but there's nothing to show that it is actually required to travel the Witch's Road. So familiarity and possibly to have a little bit more of a connection to the earth, which is one of the powers that they need to be able to complete the Witch's Road. Because you notice she wasn't the only one that did it.
Right.
All of the other ones did it as well.
Oh, shit. I just thought of something.
What?
Oh, this is the geek coming out. Oh, crap.
All right. Do you want me to finish mine, or do you want to go
Yes,
ahead and do that, and then I'll finish mine?
Nope, finish yours. Finish yours.
Okay.
Yep, finish yours.
Um,
Oh, crap.
I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the introduction of the new characters. Well, not new characters, but the new characters within the storyline. For her to get her coven.
Yep.
And I can understand why she didn't really want the lady from that 70s show, because she's a pain in the ass. She was a pain in the ass in WandaVision. So,
It's true. She was. She was.
but I agree with a lot of things that you said about the episode. It was enjoyable. Introduction, new characters. To me, the neatest part of the episode was the introduction of the Salem 7, and then coming into the house, and the one coming down the stairs as Agatha was just starting to go down the steps. Because that was creepy as hell.
It was. It was.
Funniest part of the episode was when she said, "Okay, I'll drive," to Teen, and she realizes that she's sitting behind a desk with a steering wheel and makeshift pedals. Like, oh yeah, it's not a real car. You drive.
You drive.
Overall, I'm at about 3.25.
Okay.
3.25 for this one. It is definitely better than episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Explained a lot more, and actually started to pull you in. So, but I have the same question you do. Can the Salem 7 get to her when she is on the Witch's Road, or is she protected because of the fact
Yeah.
that she's on the Witch's Road?
Yeah.
So,
Lady Death says
Because,
that she
you know-
thinks I just had a massive geekgasm. Yeah.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
And also an oh shit moment.
Yeah, real quick. I don't think, in my opinion, because of what happened at the very end of the episode, when it went from the doors and the Salem 7 were pulling at the doors trying to open it, and it transformed over to solid ground. Because of that, I don't think the Salem 7 can get to her, because she is protected while she's on the Witch's Road, because she has enough to worry about to make it to the end of the Witch's Road. That outside interference wouldn't really be fair.
Right. Now,
That's my thinking. So, what was your geekgasm about?
I know who Billy Kaplan is. That's
Her child
nope.
that passed away?
Well, not Agatha's. Wanda's. So in the comics, if I remember this correctly, I'm just memory here. Wanda did have twin sons, okay?
Yes.
Mephisto took the souls of them. And therefore, once he took the souls of them,
Hold on.
they were basically reborn as one person by the name of Billy Kaplan. That's the name that he took before he took the superhero name Wiccan. Now, with that being said, okay, the reason Agatha cannot hear his name is because he is the son of Wanda Maximoff and Vision, and two people in one, and still under the hex, so she can't hear all that information. Because
and the other interesting thing is, I just looked it up. Wanda's boys were named Tommy and Billy.
Yes. Which means
You might be onto something there, buddy.
we may also see Mephisto rear his ugly head. Now,
I remember when we were doing the pre-show, the article that we were using as a reference, the very last thing it asked was, will we see Mephisto? And all the article said was, we sincerely hope not.
well, that was the opinion of the person who wrote it.
Yes. But that was, so at this point, nobody knows.
I can tell you this would be a perfect way to bring him in, especially because he has ties to Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer,
Right.
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
Green Goblin.
that's
Doctor Doom.
That's a whole nother legend for a whole nother story.
Doctor Strange, Scarlet
For a
Witch.
whole other show.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ties with Mephisto. And for those that don't know, he's literally Satan in the Marvel comics.
Well, I find it interesting that people are hoping that we don't see Mephisto in the show. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I want to see him because if you think about it, it would tie in very well with Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. Just putting it out there. So you're at 3 1/4. I'm at 4. Lady Death's at 3 1/4 as well. That, my friends, is the end of this week's Avenger Pretenders. We will be back next week for episode 3 of Agatha All Along, and hopefully some more answers will be brought out on Witch's Road so we can see what exactly is going on. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, and I love that they brought it out at this time of year. Halloween's right around the corner. Just putting it out there, folks. Right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
It's getting there. It's getting there, that's for sure. So, with that being said, we will be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Sully Show. Tune in. We've got new trailers. We've got Dumbass of the Week. I can't believe I read that. World Record Story. Dad jokes. I can't find my book of useless information, but I will have it for tomorrow. Because I cleaned. Things got clean. So, for the redneck, there he is. Can't miss him. Nicest guy ever. With no teeth.
Unless you piss me off.
Unless you piss him off. And I am the geek. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Sully Show, only on Accidental Punch TV. Have a great night. And guess what? Thanos was right.